Hello, everyone. Welcome to the We Listen Forum. Today we have with us Ms. Suzy Singh. She's a member of the Board of Advisors, and she would be answering the questions that you have posted and that the questions that you have sent to us. So, hello and welcome, ma'am.
Hi, Moisha. Thank you very much for having me here. And I think this is a brilliant initiative by We Listen, because having questions answered in a video format, I'm sure will make them much easier for the questioners and people who are waiting to receive answers to relate once they begin to see live humans answering them in person. So thank you very much for this.
So the first question is, how does one believe in God? I have felt blessed strongly, and that initiated my belief. But I have also driven myself crazy, questioning whatever faith I had. I have heard, why should one believe when one can explore and try to find out the truth? How to find this greater truth? I feel a loss of meaning and spirit sometimes, since we don't know why we are here. And I often see people who believe in God as confident and happy. I feel the same when I believe, but I question it a lot to literally ruin it. What is the way out?
So I think this is a very powerful question to begin with, and I'm glad that this person is seeking the answer to such an important question. What is faith? I think we need to address that first. So faith is a deep knowing that something larger than ourselves, something larger than the life we are witnessing exists. And sometimes that faith is felt very strongly when we are moved deeply by a thing of beauty, or when you look into an infant's eyes, or you see an infant gurgling, or perhaps when you walk in nature and something happens in life that touches you very deeply. It could be an overwhelming glacier you're seeing, or it could be a beautiful waterfall, and it could be a sunset. And you know that something created all of these things. That greater knowing, that moment of connection with something larger than yourself, is faith. Now, you seem to be struggling with wanting to intellectually grasp faith. And perhaps that is the real issue here. Now, we can't see the air, but you know it exists, because if there is no air, or if you happen to enter into a vacuum state and you can't breathe, you have the experience of knowing that air is important and air exists, even though you cannot see it. Similarly, faith cannot be seen. It is felt experientially when we are either having a very powerful positive experience or a very, very difficult negative experience, and we are looking for a stray of hope. We are wanting to grasp onto something. So in either a very euphoric and joyful moment, we naturally and spontaneously connect with that aspect of faith in us, or in moments of despondency and grief. Now, when we are born, we are given three instruments by the divine, and these are the intellect, so you can reason and make sense of life. There is the feeling center, or the emotions, so that you can experience emotionally all of your circumstances and experiences. And there is the instinct center, which allows you to move unlike plants. There is a separate path for the development of faith, depending on which one of these centers is more dominant in you. So if you are intellectually a stronger person, then you may use the path of Gyan Yoga, which is reasoning that this is not that's superpower, or this is not it, this is not it, this is not it. And through deduction, or what is called neti, 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 not this, not this, not this. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not my thoughts, I am not my feeling. Through that process of intellectual verification, contemplation, you can arrive at the deep understanding of, yes, there is something greater. Then there are some people whose emotional centers are more developed, and they can use the path of bhakti mode, or emotionally connecting with something larger than themselves, which they may call God, they may call it universe, they may call it the faith in something bigger. And finally, those who are more prone to instinctive qualities may use the path of Karam Yoga, or service to others. So you have to see which one of these three you are more inclined towards. And it's not that any human exclusively follows one path. We all follow a combination of all of these three paths, and yet one will have predominance over the others. I feel that from the way you have described your experience, that you seem to be more intellectually drawn. However, in this case, the intellect is being misused because the intellect is creating tremendous doubt. You are questioning, even though you have the intuitive experience that when you have that experience or moment of faith, you feel very peaceful. So you know something exists. And you're trying to grasp something which the mind cannot comprehend. God, whether you want to call it the universe, whether you want to call it the higher self, whether you want to call it whatever name you give, it doesn't matter. But whoever created everything, whatever power there be beyond the individual, that is the collective sum of the creation. That particular individual thing or unmanifest energy can only be experienced through a sense of knowing. And you have to stop questioning. So the key thing is, instead of trying to grasp faith through questions, try and also drop from the head to the heart when the doubt arrives. Try and feel, try and activate your bhakti center. Try and activate your service center. Ask yourself, how do you feel when you help someone who's in trouble? What feeling does it arouse in you when you do some seva or some service for another person? Is that not faith? Why did you help them? What happens when you visit a temple or a gurdwara or a mandir and you hear a beautiful, mesmerizing bhajan or a Sufi song and you are moved to tears? What is that? What happens when everything seems to be going wrong and yet some power in you tells you to hold steadfast and know it will be okay? That is faith. We are not born with it. We are born with the three instruments I've just explained to you. Faith is a virtue that is built. It is the product of our experiences. It is the product of our acceptance or rejection of something bigger than us. So the more you accept the existence of it by using all three centers that I've described, the more deeply you will start to build this virtue of faith, and the more deeply you will experience it.